Myself Nandan S, and today I am here to share with you some very useful tips on how to crack a job interview. I am sure that this video will definitely help the job aspirants who think that interview is a tough process. Well, relax. Sitting in front of an interviewer and neatly dressed and very much tense inside but behaving like super cool and confident is not an easy task. Don't worry. In this video, I will try to share with you 6 tips on how to pass any job interview. Usually, there are 3 different types of interview questions. The first one, technical, the second one, analytical, and the third one, behavioral questions. The first category is technical questions. Technical questions are those questions based on your branch of study, or maybe your work experience, or the technical domain that is required for that particular job role. For example, if you are in for a software job, you can expect some programming questions, some coding questions. Or if you are from mechanical or electronics related fields, you can expect the fundamental questions from your core subjects that you have learned. The second category is analytical. So analytical questions are actually logical questions like some puzzles or some questions to check your mathematical or critical reasoning ability. So through these questions, the interviewer is actually trying to understand your problem solving skills. The third category is behavioral questions. And I should say, more than 50% of the questions in any general interview will be behavioral questions. So through these behavioral questions, the interviewer will try to understand about you, about your behavior, your way of answering, your energy level, your attitude, your interpersonal skills, so on and so forth. Today, I will share with you 6 tips to pass any job interview. So I'm sure that you will definitely feel this video very much useful, interesting, and informative. Let's begin. Here goes tip number 1. The first point is self-preparation. This is one very important thing that you need to do prior to any interview. Do a deep research and prepare necessary information about 3 things. First one, understand about the company. Second one, be ready with an updated resume. And the third point is to be prepared with the necessary information to answer some of the frequently asked interview questions. The first point, let us discuss the first point, understand about the company. You conduct a research about the company before going to the interview. You try to get more information about the organization. You can dive into the company website and you can figure out the company. Do research on the person's names. I mean, the top officials of the company and their significant contributions. You may use LinkedIn, which is a very beautiful thing. Definitely you will get amazing resources from that. Having all this information in mind, you can use this during any general conversation with the interviewer. And the second point is be ready with an updated resume. And the third point is be prepared with the necessary information to answer some of the frequently asked interview questions. I will share with you some important frequently asked interview questions. Here is question number 1. Tell me about yourself. In most of the interviews, I should say 99% of the interviews, this may be the first question asked by the interviewer. Some people make some common mistakes like giving too many personal data or maybe your personal life story, etc. Remember, the interviewer is sitting there to find or to check whether you are fit for the job and not to hear your personal life story. So the best answer to the question is to include your education, your experience, any additional skill development courses that you have learned, any professional achievements, etc. For example, hi, I'm Nandan. I'm a hardworking engineering graduate, specialist in computer science engineering with an overall CGPA of 8.65. Along with my degree, I have learned skill development courses of Java and .NET through XYZ online learning platform, and this helped me to contribute significantly in the project XYZ done by the team of students from our college for the public. So that project received a lot of appreciations from faculty members, students as well as public. This seems good, right? So this should be the way you have to answer to this question. Tell me about yourself. So instead of giving a lot of information about your personal life story or your experience, your personal experience, you should give weightage to your education, your experience, or any additional skill development courses or any additional value-added professional activities that you have done during your course. If required, you can add a little of your personal information. But remember, try to limit your answer to maximum of 1 minute. Let it be less than 1 minute. So you can practice again and again before going to the interview. I will tell you some more frequently asked interview questions, and I request you to use the tips that I am going to discuss today in this video to frame the answers that best suits those questions. So some more questions are: question number 1. Why do you want this job? In almost all interviews, you can expect this question. Why do you want this job? The second one: what are your strengths and weaknesses? This will be a sure question. You should be well aware of your strengths as well as your weaknesses. Tell me about some challenges you have faced during your any past experience. That can be another question that you may face. And I will tell you one more question like that's a little bit a very, very important question is: why should I hire you? So these are some of the frequently asked questions that you may face during the interview. So prepare yourself with the best answers. Here goes tip number 2. Maintain good energy level and communicate effectively. Interviewers will definitely look for your ability to communicate your thoughts, your emotions, your stories and experiences to them. Please remember, for this, preparation is very much important. What you need to do is to understand the right strategy on how to answer the interview questions. Understand the strategy, and that will help you to develop the answers ahead of time and practice this before going to the interview. Remember, try to understand the strategy and don't try to by heart the answers. Honestly speaking, if you don't know how to answer the questions, that may be one of the reasons why you are getting rejected after the interview. So my strong recommendation is to keep a very good energy level while communicating. Means a good energy level both physically as well as mentally. Don't show yourself as nervous or stressed, even though you are actually nervous or stressed. But instead, you have to be really aware of your energy level. Interviewers should feel a very positive vibrancy and a good energy throughout your conversation. You yourself should try to be comfortable during the interview rather than getting nervous or tensed. If you are comfortable, definitely you can pass that state of comfort to the interviewer. Don't worry too much about the grammar during your conversation. And I strongly recommend to give maximum number of examples. For example, you might have done a lot of projects, or you might be involved in some kind of team activities during your course of study or maybe your previous job. So it's always good to add those real life examples or it's always good to quote those real life examples during the conversation. These examples will definitely add color to your expression and definitely will make the conversation a little bit more interesting. For example, you can include, like, when I work with the team XYZ, I developed a system to automate the attendance monitoring system in my college, which drastically reduced the working time of faculty as well as office staffs. So this kind of examples you can always include. Please remember, maintain a very good energy level and try to communicate effectively. Here is tip number 3. Maintain a good body language. Your voice, your dressing style, and your body language can create a great impression. About your voice, don't keep your tone down. For example, hi, I'm Nandan. But instead of that, hi, I'm Nandan. The second one seems good, right? So always use a rising tone and should sound friendly but serious. About the dressing style, try to be professional. For a great impression, adopt a very good body language. This involves your eye contact, your posture, the way you sit, the way you stand, the way you walk into the room, etc. Sit with an open body language, and you try to keep good hand gestures as well. So be very well aware of your movements. Your postures can create a sense of connection with the interviewer. So unnecessary body movements, even though it's very hard to ignore during interviews, but be alert of some bad practices, like, say, tapping your finger or maybe bouncing your legs, so on. So be aware and stay pleasant. Practice makes you better. Practice well. Here goes tip number 4. Keep your answers sure, positive, and concise. When the interview is on the way, keep your answers sure and concise. It doesn't mean that telling one word or two words or in short number of words. But instead, you can elaborate as much as you need to convey your point. It's not about you, it's about them. The interviewer is sitting there and thinking about what you can do for the company, not like what I can do to help this person. So your answers should reflect that. Don't speak negatively about any past experience and never try to criticize anyone, maybe your past boss or maybe your team leader. Never try to criticize anyone. Always you have to keep your communication should be positive. You talk positively about what you learned from your past experiences. You might get involved in some kind of professional activities in the past. So what you can inform the interviewer, you can make the interviewer understand about all the positive things that you have learned from that. And please note, experience means your past job, or maybe if you are a fresher, your experience can be any type of engagement. See, for example, like of any extracurricular or co-curricular activities that you were involved during your college studies. Here goes tip number 5. Show the best in you. This is an opportunity to show the best in you. It's kind of selling yourself as the best person. Don't try to be a Superman or superhero, but rather deliver yourself in a confident, in a positive, and a proactive way. Know your unique selling point. What makes you different from the rest of the candidates? What can you offer the other candidates can't? Please remember, candidate with the best experience or qualification need not be the best choice for the job. Make the interviewer understand that you are a quick learner and you are a team player. Let them know what makes you unique and why they shouldn't let you go. It's very important to make the interviewer understand that you are fit for the company and its culture. And remember, don't try to speak negatively that you don't have any experience, you are a fresher, it's really bad. But rather, try to make them understand your value. You might have done a lot of skill development courses, or you might have studied a lot of additional courses during your regular studies. You make the interviewer understand about these skills that you have gained during your course of study or during your previous experience in some of the projects that you were involved. The job is actually open for some reasons. There are certain skills required. There will be a certain amount of workload. There are certain tasks that you need to be completed, and you are sitting as a potential candidate to fulfill all those requirements. So you have to show that you will add value to the company. If you don't have a learning attitude, you cannot grow in the company. So all interviewers will be looking for your learning attitude. So the most important thing is you make the interviewer understand that you are hungry to learn. Make him understand your learning attitude and ask for an opportunity. The interviewers will be looking for whether you genuinely need this job. So make them understand that you genuinely want this job. Remember, don't try to pretend like extraordinary people. Be real. Here goes the last tip, tip number 6. Come prepared with some questions. At some point, maybe towards the end, the interviewer may ask like, hey, do you have any questions for me? And if you reply like, no, that means you really haven't thought about things. So have a list of questions that you are going to ask. And that shows your eagerness to know things and your interest in the job. So the questions can be, what is a goal you are currently working toward? Or how will my performance be evaluated? Or what opportunities for advancements or additional duties would I have there? So these are some of the questions that you can ask. So this question shows that you are adaptable, you are flexible, and you are eager to learn more. So don't ask questions like, can I work from home? Or when can I get my first salary increment, etc. So those are no, those questions are not recommended. But instead, you can add some job-related questions. You can ask about the company. So what are the different career paths in your department, so on and so forth. Don't ask too many questions. So let me conclude. Here are the 6 tips to pass any job interview. Tip number 1, self-preparation. Tip number 2, maintain good energy level and communicate effectively. Tip number 3, maintain a good body language. Tip number 4, keep your answers sure, positive and concise. Tip number 5, show the best in you. And finally, tip number 6, come prepared with some questions. There is no one way an interviewer asks questions and an interviewee answers those questions. Be yourself and let your personality shine.